Well, we're getting closer and closer to the Kentucky Derby. Just a few more prep races to go. I'm Jay Privman along with Marty McGee. As you know, we do the Derby Watch Top 20 every week. Marty, as always, let's start with talking about the latest updates we've made to our Top 20. And there was just a little bit of tweaking that we did this past week, adding 1,000 words to our list. Ete Indienne comes off. What price have you made on 1,000 words this far out from the Kentucky Derby?
Well, he's kind of like the house room jock. Whenever we need somebody to come on in and ride something, we bring in old 1,000 words. It's funny. He's been a separate entry in all of the six of the Kentucky Derby pools offered by Churchill. Now it's kind of a quirk because he really hasn't been a major contender all the way around. But who else would you put in? So we slotted him in as a 50-1 in place of Ete Indienne, as you have noted after having conversed with Mr. Biancona about Ete Indienne. He still is 50-50 to make the Derby, but we made the call to go on and take him off just pending future developments with him. So we've still got Tis the Law on top with Honor AP, who we're going to talk about here in a minute, second, followed by Art Collector, and then everybody else. It's the Baffords and others after that. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 on the odds. With the race at Del Mar, and this shirt is for Del Mar. I don't get to go this year, as do many people, but they're going to run the race at Del Mar, and that's going to be the one we're talking about.
And that is the Shared Belief. It's on Saturday. There were 6 entered in this race, but only 4 are expected to run. Uncle Chuck will scratch. He'll work this weekend, and then he'll head to Saratoga for the Travers Stakes, which is next weekend. We've also got Ano d'Or, who is expected to come out of this race and run a week from Sunday in the Ellis Park Derby. So this weekend, the Shared Belief, the last West Coast prep for the postponed Kentucky Derby, 85 points overall, 50 to the winner. And Marty, the current second choice, acknowledged second choice for the Kentucky Derby, Honor AP heads up the field. His last race was a victory in the Santa Anita Derby. What are your expectations for Honor AP this week?
Well, I haven't seen the morning line, but I suppose that Del Mar kind of suspected the race would scratch down, and that's why they have it so early on the card. I would guess he would be about 2 to 5 Honor AP in this race with a rank outsider and 1,000 words and CEZANNE, the 2 Baffords, the horses to beat. So I guess 2 or 3 to 1 on the Baffords and 2 to 5 on Honor AP. And Jay, you wrote a real nice story that's going to be in the Friday editions of the Daily Racing Form about Lee Searing and his family who own Honor AP. And really, timing-wise, as we've talked about numerous times on this blog or vlog or whatever you want to call it, it seems like timing has favored him. He's been allowed to develop. His races have been spaced the way that you would think that John Sheriff would like to see him. And this is going to be, he doesn't even need the points, doesn't have to win. You would think he will. But, they're going to be all set after this.
Right. This race coming 5 weeks out from the Kentucky Derby. He just basically needs to get a good final race in, and then he'll have a month's plus of training time to get ready for the ultimate goal, which is the Kentucky Derby. As Marty mentioned, he will be a prohibitive favorite. Shortening up from 1 1/8 to 1 1/16. That's the distance that the Shared Belief is being run this year. It actually used to be run at a mile, but it also used to be run at the end of the meet because it didn't used to be a Kentucky Derby prep. So lots of changes in this incredibly bizarre 2020. Speaking of 1,000 words, as we did at the very top of this segment, he is going to be running against Honor AP on Saturday in the Shared Belief. His most recent race was a second-place finish behind stablemate Uncle Chuck in the Los Alamitos Derby. And Marty, I thought this was a good race for 1,000 words in that at least it was an improvement off a couple of the ugly efforts that we saw earlier this year. I just don't know if he's made any progress from 2 to 3. What are your thoughts on him?
He might not have, Jay, but if he's good enough to run second in here, which he might well be the second favorite behind Honor AP, he will pick up another 20 points for the Kentucky Derby. He's already got 33. That would surely be enough to get in. You and I have discussed whether or not we will actually have 20 starters in this year's Derby as opposed to all the other years where they're just jamming to get in. So I think after this race is run, that Bob will have another horse if he wants, who could be in the Derby lineup, and which is not to say that he would be a major contender.
Well, we'll see if he can get back to some of his better form. We had him ranked as high as the co-third choice on our inaugural Derby Watch Top 20 all the way back in February, but he has not progressed at the level that we thought he would at that point, and he, in fact, has come off the list for quite a while. Back on this week, and whether he stays on will be dependent on how he races on Saturday. The last Derby Watch Top 20 member that we're going to take a look at also hails from the Bob Baffert barn. That is the unbeaten CEZANNE. He is 2 for 2 lifetime. Marty, this will be his stakes debut for this expensive auction purchase. I thought his last win against Allowance Company was just very average, and he's going to have to take a big step up, I think, to be competitive on Saturday. And he's running against the best horse from a Derby prospect standpoint on the West Coast in Honor AP, and the second best at worst overall right now. What do you expect to see from CEZANNE on Saturday?
Well, this is effectively his win and you're in to the Derby. If he doesn't win, it might be a moot point points-wise. But when both he and Uncle Chuck kind of came to prominence after Nadal and Charlatan were out of the Derby picture, he was kind of the more favored one, Jay, with his pedigree and his purchase price and the way he won first out. Since then, perhaps not as much, and I think that's why maybe Bob is taking Uncle Chuck over. One of the reasons he's taking Uncle Chuck to Saratoga to match him up against Tizzalaw and see how he stands there, and just kind of hoping that he will upset the odds, since, of course, Honor AP is going to be such a big favorite and go on again in the Derby this way.
So Honor AP, with nothing to prove on Saturday, just needs to get a good final prep race in and move on. But the other 2,000 Words in CEZANNE needing to show something to go on to the Kentucky Derby. Marty and I will be back next week to recap this race and tell you our thoughts on how those horses performed. We will also preview the Travers Stakes next week with the current Derby favorite Tiz the Law and Uncle Chuck slated to head up that field. Also next week, we'll take an early look at the Ellis Park Derby. That's all for this week, though. For Marty McGee, I'm Jay Privman. Thanks for watching.